Hello and welcome to the Whole Being Healing Podcast, where we talk about healing your entire being, all aspects of yourself and your life. Today, we're going to be talking about money, self-worth, and your health. I'm Lisa Warner. I'm the author of The Simplicity of Self-Healing, and I am here with my beautiful co-host, who I will allow to introduce herself.
Thank you, Lisa. I'm Maura and I am co-author with my husband Keith of The 7 Steps to Successful Relationship and co-creator with beautiful Lisa here of Lisa and Maura's Magical Mystery School for Whole Being Healers and the Whole Being Healing Transformational Experience. And yeah, so money and self-worth and your health, like how are these things connected? Do we think very often about them being connected? I'm not sure that we do. It's one of those things that is very much within, kind of buried, I think, deeply within our programmed consciousness is a self-devaluation. It's rampant. It's kind of a what would you call it? An epidemic, Lisa? Perhaps a pandemic? An actual one? Yeah, so we laugh, but it's a serious subject, and at the same time, we like to keep things light. So we may be laughing, but just know that we're not joking around here. This is important.
Yeah, when I found myself facing cancer, it was completely obvious to me that my money struggles were at the root of all of this because I was so stressed all the time about money. Where was it going to come from? I didn't have enough. I can't afford that. I can't have money. That was like that that little loop. I can't have money was running in the background of my consciousness all the time. And so, guess what appeared in my reality? No money. Because this is how it works. Your consciousness comes first, then the reality shows up. We think that we're responding to the reality around us, but we are actually generating the reality around us.
Right? And that's the unconscious part that I was talking about being buried because our self-concept is not something that we, in a lot of cases, and for most of us, has been not something that we consciously created. And so then we have to consciously create it. And those of us who have realized that have been doing our best to do that. And in some ways, we've improved, and yet still these things can be really under the surface and not noticed. And we've been noticing lately, Lisa and I, that um, a lot of people seem to be dealing with that. And I know some of it's probably coming from the media right now. We don't pay attention to the media. So I was just saying to Lisa yesterday, I might want to actually turn on the news and like find out what people are listening to just so that I can know how they're being possibly influenced by that, knowingly or unknowingly. And but there definitely seems to be something in the air with that self-devaluation right now, though I don't think people are necessarily recognizing it as self-devaluation. They're feeling it as what's happening out there is is scary, and so I have to be careful, and I probably um won't have enough. Things are getting bad and they're going to get worse and all these kind of things, right?
Yeah, and the problem with that is that when we repeat those narratives of, oh no, the economy is going to collapse. Oh no, there's going to be shortages. Oh no, there's not going to be enough for everybody. When we perpetuate those thought patterns and we project them out into the world, that's what we actually generate.
Yeah.
But we don't have to be generating that. We can generate something completely different because, truth be told, those are not our thought patterns. We would never think those things if we were just living on the earth in our normal state, happy, healthy, feeling good, allowing the world, the earth to provide for us, and just living in community, kind of the way the original design was. We would never have cause to think those thought patterns because we live in an abundant universe, and this beautiful planet is also abundant. So
Yeah.
why would we think those things? But it's because the divine design has been tweaked and distorted, and we're
Yeah.
no longer in our original consciousness.
Right? We've been shown a picture of division rather than unity. We've been shown that what I have is what I have, and what you have is what you have, and we have to I have to make sure that I'm going to be okay. And so we're like we're either preparing for the worst or we're worried about it or whatever. I'm saying we, I mean, I, I'm sure I still have in my consciousness a lot of these things because we need to constantly be clearing them. But what I, but what also is tricky is that the awareness can do the same thing because many years ago, was introduced to, what was really going on with the money system and what it was actually doing and the things about the things in history that happened that we didn't know about and all these things. And those of us who get an awareness of this, for me, I had never felt comfortable with money. I had never felt like it was something that honors everyone's value. And I've never felt that feeling like you said about how nature is abundant. I've never felt that about money. I was like, that's a whole different thing. Yes, nature's abundant, but money's not. It's based on scarcity. That's the whole system. So I was pushing it away. I, envisioned a world without money, and so I was therefore pushing it away, which is problematic because it's what we're using right now still. And until we get to the place where we're, able to do everything without money, I mean, we can do some things without money now, but yeah, so I was pushing it away. And the conversation needs to be more about value, I think, and giving and receiving and all these things that we have not necessarily become very good at in a way that's peaceful, in a way that feels natural because of all these other things that have been sort of overlaid over that, right?
Yeah. And when it comes to value, we have never been taught to value ourselves. We have not been taught that we are valuable just the way we are, just for existence, that our existence is of value to the world.
So important, so important. And that's where, when you really look at it, you can see it. You can feel it. It's like when Lisa and I tell you you're a grand being of light, when we tell you you're an angel on this earth, what does that feel like? Maybe there's a part of you that feels like, wow, that feels really good. But then there's that other part that's like, um, like, how
What you
could I
talking about,
actually
Willis?
Right? How could I actually
Me,
believe that? Isn't that ego? Isn't that me making myself bigger than other people or thinking that I'm better than I am or something like that?
right? Because we've gotten so caught up in, we've been told that when we speak well of ourselves, that we're being narcissistic or we're being egotistical, or when we put our own needs first, when we put on our own oxygen mask first before everybody else, that's selfish. Like we're taught that in the airplane. That's one of the first things they always say, put your own mask on first, because if you already passed out, you really can't help anybody else. But when it comes to just everyday living, it's like, oh, well, you have to think of this person, you have to think of that person, and what are you going to do for me, and how are you going to, oh, you're not going to do this for me, why are you not going to do this, how can you say no to me? Like, we've been taught all of these crazy things that don't honor us.
Yes, and we've been sort of indoctrinated and conditioned into doing certain things with our money that we feel, well, this needs to be done and this needs to be done and this is important. But then when it comes to actually investing in ourselves and our own well-being, our health, our consciousness, our way of being in the world that keeps us sane, happy, productive, that enables us to be a person who can support other people, who can take care of other people. We have it backwards. We're like, oh no, I can't actually, we think of it as spending money on myself. Well, yeah, if you're going to go and, buy a bunch of clothes you don't need or, you know, some, some other uh, object you don't need that isn't really serving you or anyone, that's spending. But when you have the opportunity to do something that will actually improve you and support you, that supports everyone. That supports life. That supports the whole world.
Absolutely. All of the things that we have been taught are for, our absolute necessities that we have to spend money on these things. You have to pay your taxes. You have to have health insurance. You have to, all of these have tos. When we look at them, do they even feel good to do those things? Does it actually feel good to do those things? And is there something inside that goes, God, I wish I didn't have to do that? Well, that's a message right there that we need to look at. We need to be willing to look at all of the things that we have been taught that we have to do or that we have to have. And do we actually have to?
And, you know, that's so important what you just said, because when we are putting money into systems that there's something in us that doesn't feel good about it, why? Why doesn't it feel good? What's going on with that? It's hard to look at those things. We don't want to look at it. Most of us know that, the world systems are pretty messed up, but we keep participating in them because we don't know another way to do it. And we're kind of all locked into it, right? It's like this big web that kind of has us, stuck in it. But the way to get unstuck is one step at a time. And the first step is being willing to look at it, being willing to have that awareness and look at, okay, so why doesn't this feel good? And what would feel better? What would feel like it supports my life and others' lives and, you know, creates more peace and love, more um, just more value, more connection, more well-being, more health, more freedom, all the things that we love and value and that feel good.
Yeah, when I found myself in that health predicament that I aforementioned, I did not use the medical model at all. I didn't use doctors. I didn't use pills. I didn't use, fancy treatments, none of that. I realized that somehow I had created that whole situation. I had actively participated in the creation of that predicament. And if I was the one who had created that predicament, I was also the one who had to be able to uncreate the predicament. And my body was not the problem. I knew that my body was not the origination of the predicament. I knew that the money, all of the self devaluation of the, I'm not good enough, I don't fit in, whatever all of those thought patterns were that were putting me down, all of the, I don't deserve to have money, I can't have money, all of those lies
Yeah.
that I was telling myself. Because the truth of the matter is that we are grand beings of light, created in the likeness and image of our creator, God, source, universe, whatever word you want to put on that, which means that we have the same capacities to create and uncreate as our creator does. And this universe, all that is infinitely abundant. Everything that we could possibly imagine is
Mm.
available to us. So we have to learn how to align with the things that we desire. So what I realized was that I was aligned with a whole bunch of lies. I
Mm.
was aligned with the who I am not.
Mm.
And that never feels good. And when you're not feeling great about yourself, it's because you're being who you are not. So I realized that my path back to health was to align with the truth of who I am. Because at the core, the blueprint of who I am, who I was created by our creator to be, is a grand being of light, a soul which has infinite worth, that is worthy of existing simply by the fact that I exist. I have inherent value because our creator doesn't create garbage. So everything that is living on this planet is of value. Trees, fish, birds, bees, all of it is of value. Every single life form is valuable, including you.
Yes. And when you realize your own value and affirm that and know it and really fully embody it and get it, then you're actually able to be that. You're able to provide value, to give and receive value. Because when we're not feeling valuable, we're not able to receive value either. That whole giving and receiving process is something that is not talked about so much. It's mostly like we're talking about, financial exchanges that are, buying and selling and transactions and all these things. But if we think about how nature just gives and flows, gives and receives, right? It's like each thing in nature is giving and receiving naturally, and it's allowing that to flow. Doesn't hold back on the giving, and it doesn't like push away the receiving. So it's all a flow. And just imagine if we all were doing that with not only the way that we be in our lives, but with money as well, with finances. What if we just allowed the flow wherever it feels good, wherever it feels like this is something good and valuable, we would give to each other and we would allow ourselves to receive from each other. What a beautiful thing. What would that create?
Yeah,
Imagine the energy when it flows like that. What can be created?
so it would be amazing. What if we stopped buying and selling and we started giving and receiving? What if we shifted our mindset around that? What if we stopped paying for things such as gas or your utility bill or whatever? And what if we started looking at it as I am giving myself the gift of a full tank of gas?
Mm.
It's the exact same action, filling the tank with gas. But on one side, I'm paying for this. And on the other side, I am giving myself this gift. which one feels better.
Yeah, exactly. Giving yourself a gift and giving someone else a gift at the same time. You know, there were a lot of beautiful beings involved in that gallon of gasoline or whatever it is, and bringing that to you. And so you're giving a gift to them by purchasing it.
Mhm. Just like going to the farmer's market, the farmers who grow the food in your local area. And they go to the farmer's market and they bring their gifts to the market. And you go to the market and you purchase those gifts. You're giving them the gift exchange of money for their giving you the gift of food. I mean, it's a beautiful exchange. When you go to a farmer's market, there's a beautiful energy there because it's not just about buying and selling things, it's about creating community, it's about uplifting each other, it's about working with nature and doing things the way that God intended for us to do it, to work with the land, allow the land to give us these crops. And then we tend those crops, we take care of the land, and then we share those crops, we share the abundance, because when we work in this fashion, there's always an abundance.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like whatever happens with this crazy system and what they out there are doing, it doesn't even need to really affect us. Like we are still just people in bodies in nature and in a community with other people. And this is how people lived for what, thousands of years? Like, right? I mean, it's not rocket science. It's just connecting, giving, receiving, bringing value, receiving value, allowing things to flow. That's all we need to do to have a beautiful experience in our lives.
You know, when I was a young woman, you know, in my 20s and 30s, um, I was living in Aspen, Colorado, and there was a very big rift between the haves and the have-nots. And I always thought, why do those people who have those great big mansions, who are that are second, third, fourth homes, that you know these people own multi-million-dollar homes and they're there for a week or two or out of the year, and the rest of the times those places sat empty, and I thought, why do those people have such ease with money? Like, what am I missing? What's wrong with me? Like, why can't I get that? Like, why don't, and I never really understood how that was happening. I thought they were just like really good with money. You know, now, you know, come to find out, when you really start to look at how the society is set up, it's set up for those of us on the bottom of the pyramid, on the lower parts of the food chain, for all of our money to filter up to those at the top of the food chain. And you know, they don't have to be brilliant people, they don't have to be really great with money, because it's just feeding up, because that's how the system was set up. So once I understood that, I stopped feeling bad about myself, about, you know, not understanding how to be a billionaire, you know, just by working harder. And I started to cut myself a break, and I started to recognize that I was allowing money to make me sick. Like all of these scenarios were just completely draining my living life force energy. And so one of the first things I really did was I started to look at, in what ways am I perpetuating the upward flow of money? Like, how am I allowing myself to be siphoned off, that the money that I had, how was I allowing it to be siphoned away from me without really my consent? And I started to plug up all those holes. I started to realize that I don't have to have this same old money story. I don't have to do things that I'm just told that I have to do. When I started to really look at all of these patterns, I realized we all have choice. And when we all start working together, we start empowering each other, we start helping each other look from different perspectives so that we can see from a different perspective. We start to see different things when we look from different perspectives, believe it or not.
Yep. Yeah. You said a lot just then. Like, where do I go with that? Because there's out there and there's in here and there's, between me and others, there all those relationships and all those, concepts and ideas and beliefs. And looking at all those is important. And at the same time, really the most important thing is just is just allowing life to flow through me, allowing myself to share my gifts and allowing gifts to be shared with me.
And, to be willing to look at our own value and where we are selling ourselves short. Where are we giving away things that, you know, that are precious, that we're told we need to give it away? or it, it's really important to start looking at things that we do that are not honoring of who we are. When we compromise ourselves, when we allow ourselves um, to follow other people's rules, when we allow ourselves to um, go against that inner voice that's saying, "You sure you want to do that? Really?" We have been really well trained to override that inner voice, to go, well, no, I have to do this. Yeah, I just have to because that's what they said. I'll get in trouble if I don't do this. And then we override that inner knowing. But that's where our power is. And when we take back that power, we start to recognize that we have far more choices than we are being given.
Right? Because it covers up the inner voice that's telling us what does feel good, what does feel aligned, what feels like our actual living life force energy is being utilized in a direction for good, right? It's being utilized productively. Being able to hear that, being able to notice that is is difficult when you haven't cleared away the ones that are telling you other stuff, the voices that are telling you, the it's internalized, it's the programmed consciousness, right?
that, that programmed consciousness is really insidious because it feels like they're my thoughts. Like, nobody else is in my head. It couldn't be anybody else in my head. I couldn't think somebody else's thoughts. But guess what? We're thinking other people's thoughts all the time. When we turn on the news, look at all those thoughts that come barreling out at us. And we go, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? Those are just thought patterns that are being projected out into the mass consciousness. And to be perfectly honest, the majority of those things are not even accurate. They're just portraying a picture of a dystopian society. And if we just buy into that, that's what we generate just by default. And we go, see, this is real. This is what's actually happening. But it only appears that way because it's the projection that the world around us is the out picturing of what's going on inside. So, what's going on in the view screen of our consciousness is then what gets projected out on the view screen of our physical landscape. So everything is getting projected from inside. We are the creator. Each and every one of us is creating our own reality, creating our own experience. We've just been conditioned to align our experience with the one that's being projected into the mainstream of consciousness.
Right.
Then we just attune our own reality to that picture. And then we just believe that that's what's actually real.
And it's not difficult to shift it. It's not difficult to shift the consciousness, but it feels difficult because we're so used to doing it the other way, and it keeps coming back in the other way. Because we've been doing this for a very long time. We, as, just as a species, right? It's been going on way longer than any of us have even been alive. And all of that is in us from our ancestral line, from, just it's in there very deeply. And so it's not difficult to shift it, but it takes intentionality and it takes like, I don't know, I want to say vigilance, I want to say repetition, but those aren't really the words I'm looking for. It just takes intentionality and continual process, right?
Right? Like self monitoring, noticing the thoughts we're thinking, noticing how we're feeling, noticing what would it be like if we lived in heaven on earth? What would it be like if we lived on a world where there was peace? Just peace. No war, no fighting. What if we lived in harmony with all life? What if we honored all life? The life of a tree, the life of a bee, the life of a bird, a fish, a cow, a moose. What if we honored all life? Wouldn't life then honor us back? What if we honored each other? Well, the truth is, we can do that. It's the actual divine design, it's what it's supposed to be like.
Right. And it's been covered up, but the cover up is an illusion. It's literally a cover up. It's like the divine design is still there. That world exists now. We are all a part of it. We can all be a part of it. But when we accept the illusion of something that is not natural, something that's distorted and doesn't feel good, then we're perpetuating that.
You know, because we have each been created as a divine soul, we each have agency, we each have authority, we each have permission to go out into the all that is and explore. We are free will beings. But here on this planet, we have been taught that, well, there are some people at the top and they make all the rules and they do all the things, and then we have to follow all of those rules. So we have just simply been taught that there are the rulers and there are the ruled overs, and we are the ruled overs.
Well,
And
and also that if you don't follow the way you're supposed to be, then you're basically an outcast, right? You don't fit in, you don't belong, You're weird, you're crazy, whatever it is. And
Or
nobody
we're going
wants
to
to be
punish you,
that. Huh?
or we're going to punish you,
Yeah.
right?
All
You
those
don't
all
do
those
what you're
things.
told, we're going to punish you.
Yeah. Well, the punishment, I mean, it's punishment enough just to be outcast, right?
Absolutely.
And so that's internalized as well. So how do you get in touch with the incredible value of who you really are when you're afraid to be who you are because it's not the popular way to be. It's not the way that they're saying we should be,
Yeah, it's a big question because when we're being who we are not, when we're following somebody else's footsteps, when we're following along on somebody else's path, it's not our path. We each have our own path that we are designed to walk with our creator as living beings. Every single life form serves a purpose, a very specific purpose. A maple tree serves a different purpose than a pine tree, serves a different purpose than a bird, right? It's like every
right?
single human is here for a specific purpose to walk a specific pathway. But when we've been taught that we all have to walk the same pathway where we're all going to get in trouble, it causes a lot of trouble.
Right? So your purpose is to be more you instead of less you. So whenever you notice you're being less you, that's when it doesn't feel good. It just feels like something feels off or something is frustrating. It feels like you're fighting against something instead of flowing, all these things. Or you feel like you like that conflict of not being enough. There's all kinds of ways. Guilt, resentment, all kinds of ways. Fear that when you feel those things, that is you being less of you instead of being more of who you really are. So what does it feel like to be more of who you really are? Those are the times when you feel the flow, when you feel like things are working in your favor instead of against you, when you feel like connections are easy, when ideas come easily, when things just work.
Yeah, when you're
You're being,
happy,
yeah,
when you feel good, right?
yep,
All those other things don't feel good. And when we don't feel good for long enough, our bodies stop feeling good because they are reflections of our inner world. So our bodies are not being attacked by diseases, and
right.
pills are not going to fix it.
And all these people, walking around, how are you? Oh, good, I'm good. And yet, all these diseases, all these people, going to the doctor because something's wrong and having to have surgery and this and that. Well, if you're good, why did that happen? So these things, this is why we're talking about all this because it keeps going, whether you notice it or not. And so we need to start noticing it more, being more of who we are. If you're not being who you are, and then you get sick, that's why you got sick, not because somebody gave you something, not because you were unlucky, right? It's because you weren't being who you are, or something just happened, that affected you. Sometimes it's just your body adjusting to something. Okay, so just allow it to adjust. That's not a big deal. But it's the things that become, systemic, that become a problem because you're not noticing them. You're not noticing all the times. Your body's like, hello. The world's like, hello. I need you to be who you are. I need you to be more of who you are and not less. Stop squashing it. Stop ignoring it.
When we're focused on the problems of the world, we're only amplifying the problems. And those problems are going to show up directly in our lives because anything that we notice is appearing in our life. It's appearing in our consciousness. There's nothing that happens outside of your consciousness. So everything that you are aware of is happening inside your own consciousness. And this is great news because you have agency. You have control of your own consciousness, despite what other people may want you to believe. You are the one that's in charge. You are the one that's in the driver's seat. But when you've been taught that somebody else knows more than you do, somebody else has the answer, you're going to go look for those experts that have the answers, the ones that know more than you do. And guess what? You're not going to find your answer from somebody else because nobody else holds your answers. They can't because nobody else is you. Nobody else is walking your specific soul path. So people who are real healers, they don't tell you, they don't heal you. They hold space for you to heal yourself,
Yes.
help you to open your consciousness to see where it is that you have started to not be yourself. You've been pulled off your path. Real healers help you come back into alignment with you and your creator and your soul's path through life. This is where the healing is. Healing happens when everything is in harmony. Healing happens when everything is in alignment.
Right? This is why when someone comes into our whole being healing course, we right away call you a whole being healer because that's what you're doing. You're making the choice to heal. You are healing yourself. You're allowing yourself to heal, and you're holding space for others to heal. That's what a healer is. We are all healers when we allow ourselves to be.
Absolutely. And we are all leaders because we are here to lead ourselves back to health. We have been taught that there are world leaders, but wow, they're doing a real bang up job, aren't they? Those are not leaders. A real leader walks with you hand in hand and guides you back to yourself, helps everybody thrive. Real leaders lead from their heart, not from their power centers.
Right? So maybe start putting more attention on the leaders who are actually supporting you in leading yourself and being more of who you are and being the healthy, vibrant, you know, valuable being that you are. Put more focus on that.
And look at how are you investing in that? Are you simply buying pills to try to make it better? Because that's not really a great investment, shall we say?
Right? Anything that has a side effect, maybe
Right,
not the best thing to be doing, just saying.
right. You know, putting things in your body that you have no idea what it is, probably not your best plan of attack
That
here.
your body has no idea what it is. Right?
Mhm.
It's like it's not natural.
You know, our bodies are brilliant. Our bodies are biological. Our
Mm,
bodies have intelligence. Our bodies know how to heal themselves, and our bodies know how to adapt themselves to our specific situations. And this is
mhm.
what's actually happening. It's a process of adaptation and restoration, healing, and the adaptation part is what has been labeled as disease, because it's now the body has adapted to your distorted thought patterns. So the body distorts itself in direct proportion to the distorted thought patterns. So when the body distorts, it's not because your body's being attacked by some disease. This is kind of the the marketing plan, let's say, right? Disease is the marketing plan. But when we understand that there is no such thing, that that's not what's happening to our body, we can stop following the marketing plan, and we can take our power back, and we can start looking at the root cause of, where am I not being myself? Where am I not being true to who I am? Where am I just outsourcing my authority to somebody else who I've been told knows me better than I do, knows my body better than I do? It's not possible. Nobody else is in your body. You're the only one in there, and you're the only one who can shape it and heal it and do, have your body respond to you.
And if hearing that right now feels scary or uncomfortable, that's only because we have been conditioned for that to feel scary and uncomfortable. You have been conditioned. If that's what that's feeling, that's not your natural reaction. That's that's just what we've come to. That's what we've been conditioned to be. But it's not who we really are. It's not who you really are. You have the capacity to be who you naturally are with ease and allow yourself to naturally heal with ease. You
Right?
have that capacity within you, and you can allow yourself to hear what we're saying right now and just open to it. Just open to it and see if you can feel something different. See if there's something in you that goes, oh, maybe that could feel good.
Right? There's nothing easier than being yourself. Being yourself is simple, it's easy, it feels great. It's the being who you are not is really hard. It makes
Right?
it difficult,
And squashing the being who you are.
right? Preventing you from being who you are.
Right. It's like we almost don't even know what it feels like to be fully ourselves because we haven't allowed ourselves to do it. So that's the other thing we have conflict with. We just got like an identity crisis. Like, who am I? Really? Do I even know?
Yeah.
Right?
Life on planet Earth is not set up to just be easy. It's because the easy has been covered up.
Right. And the who you are is not a role. That's sort of what we've all fallen into. What role am I in? And that's my identity. Your identity is not a role. Your identity is just who you are. It's really cool when you can and the way that you can and the way that you can get in touch with that is by noticing the roles and just saying, okay, that's a role, that's a role, that's a role. It's not who I am. And then who you are starts to emerge because you're like, oh, I just felt this. That's not a role. I just thought this. That's not a role. That's me. It's fun. It's exciting. It's cool. It's cool to discover it in ourselves and each other. That's why I love coming together with other people and doing this work because it's like what can we discover that we've been squashing, that we've been ignoring, that we haven't been able to see because it's been covered up by all this other crap.
Yeah. Yeah. And the economy is, that's all part of the cover up. The nature is its own economy. It works very economically. Things grow where they are supposed to grow, things grow where they belong, things grow together with other things that support each other. Like everything in nature is made to support each other. It's a natural flow. Water flows, comes up, it turns into clouds, it comes back down, it goes into the ground, it feeds all the plants and the animals. And, there's a natural economy in nature. But the money one is like that back and forth and it's up and down. And that's the false matrix economy. So how do we start healing all of this? Because healing the money wounds are part of the healing process. Healing isn't just about fixing our bodies specifically, because our bodies are not broken, but we have to heal all aspects of ourselves. We are multidimensional beings. So we have to be able to heal not only physically, but we have to be able to heal mentally, emotionally. We have to heal financially. We have to heal in so many different ways that it seems overwhelming when you think about, oh no, like, how am I going to do all of this myself? But the thing is, we don't have to do it by ourselves.
Right.
When we work together we can heal all of these things very easily.
Right. And worrying about money is resisting the flow. It's pushing it away from you and even trying to keep what you have is is pushing it away because you're not in the flow. Money is energy. Energy moves. And that's why I was talking earlier about giving and receiving. It flows in, it flows out. Look at the ocean, right? And look at the river flowing in to the other body of water. Look how they flow into each other. They feed each other and they just keep moving. And so when we have this fear instilled in us about money, then we stop allowing it to flow. And we stop allowing it to flow, then we actually create the very thing that we're being made to be afraid of. Oh, the economy, it's a problem. Everything's, getting scarce. It's getting more of this. Well, how could that even happen? It's like nature doesn't get scarce. It just flows. It just keeps flowing. And so if we all refuse to believe that stuff, if we let go of that belief system of being told that there's scarcity and that we have to be worried about money, and we just allow it to flow. Imagine that. Imagine allowing it to flow between sources that are a perfect match for each other. It's like giving, receiving, flowing in, flowing out, connecting, supporting, and it all works out beautifully. Let's all focus on that.
Energy just flows. Energy is the lifeblood of life itself. It's like water is like the lifeblood of the planet. When we think about how the water is constantly flowing, it's coming up from underground, it's coming down from the mountains, it's coming out from the sky, it's moving through the rivers into the oceans and cycling back around again. Just like the blood in your body, it's constantly cycling around and around in your body. If we stop the flow of money, stop the flow of energy, it's like, wow, what if I just thought, oh no, I'm not going to have enough blood, so I'm just going to hoard it all in my heart so that I have enough for my heart to start to keep pumping that blood through, and we're just stopping the flow. What's going to happen? Right?
Right? And it does. It does. We stop the th flow of things in our body all the time with these thoughts and these beliefs and these feelings that we think are just happening to us, but we're generating them ourselves. And so, as you're listening to us right now, you're still here listening. You're receiving a lot. That's awesome. We're giving a lot. I mean, a lot. I mean, that's just, we're giving value from the value that we inherently have. We're allowing ourselves to be aware of that value and we're giving it to you now. And you're receiving it. How awesome is that? And so now you have that within you and it supports you in seeing your own inherent value. It supports your inherent value. If this is feeling good, if you've stayed long enough to keep listening at this point, then this value is actually supporting your inherent value. It's a match. It's a vibrational match. And you now will take it into your life and share it in a way that supports others. Isn't that awesome?
It sure is. Love it.
Let's do more of that.
Yeah, this is why we have created Lisa and Mara's Magical Mystery School for whole being healers, so that we can all create value for each other, so that we can be of service to each other, so that we can grow a community of healers, leaders, givers, flowers of information, of value, of money.
Yep. And that's it. It's like if you listen this far and you are a match and you're not already involved in what we're doing, maybe you want to check it out. Maybe you want to get more involved. If you are already involved, maybe you want to be more engaged. Maybe you want to do something else. I don't know. It's something to think about. We love you. We are so happy that you're here. Uh, Lisa sometimes says, and I'm starting to get with the program of how these social media things work. When we say things like subscribe, like, it's like, okay, those until those things connect with me and I understand what it means, then it's like, yeah, whatever. But what it means is when you click like, when you comment, when you subscribe and we see it, we know you're there. We know that you like what we're saying. We know that you're receiving what we're giving.
Right? And that's just a gift that you can give to us. It costs you nothing, but it gives us some value. It gives us more shareability on the different platforms. It gives us more exposure. It gives us more credibility. The more engagement we all have together, the more we grow all together. It's not about, lifting Lisa and Mara up on a pedestal. It has nothing to do with that. We don't want to be up on any pedestal,
No, please, please don't.
right? But we want to see a thriving earth and a thriving humanity.
Yeah.
So we want to be able to heal our whole beings. And as we heal our whole beings, that also includes healing the earth simply by default, because it's our home. So by healing ourselves, we automatically start helping others to heal and start helping the earth to heal, because we inherently see what has been making us sick, and we stop participating in the things that have been making us sick. And we start clearing away all of those thought patterns that were never ours to begin with.
Mm.
And we start feeling good, and we start feeling better, and we start loving life, and we start actually living.
There's that face, Lisa. Let's go play. That's the let's go play face. I love it. Summer's coming. It's almost here. We'll be going to the water together. It'll be awesome. Yay! Yay for spring. Yay for summer. Well,
Yes.
thank you so much. Thank you, Lisa, and thank you, viewers. Thank you for coming and watching us. Thank you, Whole Being Healers, for connecting with us and supporting us. Again, we love you so much. We love working with you. We love connecting with you and supporting you and being supported by you. It's awesome. Let's do more of that.
Thank you, Mara. And consider this your invitation to come play with us, come heal with us, come grow with us. If this message resonates, come on down, come and play. Add your energy here, because we're doing some beautiful things together. So we hope you got lots of value from this today.
Yeah, yeah, we are doing some beautiful things. And believe it or not, we go even deeper than what we're saying. Yeah. All right.
Thanks so much. Remember to subscribe and give us the gift of some engagement. Thank you so much. Until next time, happy
Happy healing. Love you. Bye.